This video provides an introduction and tutorial on the Volatility Bands indicator. The indicator is a complete trading system which identifies dynamic ranges of support and resistance and overbought and oversold conditions. For the purposes of this tutorial, we will be looking at the Bitcoin chart from Bitfinex. So let's dive in. At first glance, the indicator may seem confusing, but the underlying logic is simple. And once you understand this logic, you will be able to approach technical analysis from a new perspective, which will give you a unique edge in the market. At the heart of the indicator is the VWAP, which tracks price by volume. There is the short VWAP, seen here in green, and there is the long VWAP, seen here in blue. For short-term price action, the short VWAP acts as the primary source of support and resistance. But when price touches the long VWAP, seen here for example, we see it providing significant support. Here, we see it acting as strong resistance. So, apart from VWAPs, what are we looking at? Put simply, we are looking at deviations from the VWAP. These deviations are calculated using Fibonacci ratios and are represented by dotted lines here, 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 and so on. The further price deviates from the VWAP, the more resistance it encounters. Put another way, we could say the further price deviates from the VWAP, the closer it approaches overbought or oversold conditions. It is these deviations which allow you to accurately predict where price is going, and also to where it is likely to reverse. The indicator also has the capacity to predict more long-term price movements. While these deviation bands here and here track price closely, these bands here and here do not. The tighter bands give you a sense of the short-run possibilities for price. We can see in the short run the maximum value to expect from Bitcoin is approximately $9,900, and the minimum is approximately $3,700. However, to reach these points, multiple areas of resistance must be breached. The dark grey areas above and below these short-term deviation bands are breached only in exceptional circumstances. The wider bands above and below these areas give an indication of Bitcoin's long-term potential. Based on current and historic price action, we could expect a maximum value of approximately $24,000 and a minimum value of 0. With these basic concepts in mind, we now turn to some practical use cases. Looking to the left of the chart, we see numerous signs of strength leading up to a significant surge in price. First, we see price bouncing off the short VWAP here, here, and here. The grey zone has narrowed, as have the deviations around it. Price tests the upper bands of the short deviations here, 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 and here before retracing. The slope of the VWAP has gradually increased. Price briefly falls below the VWAP, but quickly finds support above the lower deviation. Soon after, there is an aggressive push to the upside, with price briefly puncturing the long-term bands. To the right, we see numerous signs of weakness prior to the drop. Here, we see the short VWAP acting primarily as resistance. This time, price is bouncing off the lower deviation, as we see here, here, and here. Again, we see a narrowing of both the grey zone and surrounding deviations. Both the deviations and VWAP are sloping downward, suggesting imminent retracement. First the squeeze, and now the pop. Taken together, these signals provide the necessary information to either exit a long or enter a short position. For our final example, we return to the daily chart. One of the challenges facing traders is knowing when to sell. The indicator provides a strong visual cue as to when this should be done. Leading up to Bitcoin's all-time high in December 2017, we see a clear sign of weakness. This signal is not here at 19,600. Rather, it occurs 9 days earlier, here at 16,500. How do we know this? The answer should now be clear. What we are looking at is the first significant breach of the short-term deviation bands, which are at this point above the long-term deviations. This situation in and of itself is unusual and clearly shows Bitcoin was struggling to maintain the then current price. This, of course, is not a signal to sell, but it is a signal to pay attention. And as we see in the subsequent price action, there is clear weakness from which Bitcoin never truly recovers. This scenario illustrates the multidimensional nature of the indicator as an early warning system. This system enables you to not only time your entries with precision, but also your exits, and without the use of any additional indicators. For further information on how to access the volatility indicator and connect to the growing community of traders using this strategy, see the links below.